Can your child be the trustee of your living trust while you're still alive? It's a very common question that comes with a lot of additional questions and concerns. For example, will they be able to handle the responsibility well? Could this decision lead to family tensions with your other kids or other family members? And most importantly, is this truly the best option for your circumstances? When setting up a living trust to protect your assets and ensure your wishes are carried out, choosing the right trustee is one of the most important decisions you'll make. And so when you're trying to put a child as the trustee now while you're alive, there's even more ramifications about that. So in this video, I'm going to help you navigate these questions and provide the answers you need. So we're going to explore whether your child, number one, can be the trustee of your trust while you're alive. And number two, if so, we're going to break down the pros and cons to help you make a more informed decision as to whether or not they should be. Before we start, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss our new videos with very practical estate planning tips. So the short answer is yes, your child can be your trustee while you're still alive. In fact, many parents name their children as trustees because of the natural trust and familiarity that they share, especially elderly parents who are still alive, but they want their kids to manage the house, the money. And so some of our clients who are elderly would appoint their children while they're alive to be the trustees. But before you make this decision, it's really important to weigh the benefits and potential drawbacks. So here are the pros, the benefits of naming your child as the trustee. I'll talk about the disadvantages in a minute. Number one, the advantage is your trust and familiarity, like I just mentioned. Your child knows you well, right? Likely understands your values, your goals, your financial priorities. You trust that they're not going to take advantage of you. And so this familiarity can make them more attuned to your wishes and how to take care of you than a third party. Because when you name a child as your trustee, you're basically telling them, hey, I trust you with my house. I trust you with my money. You manage everything. You take care of me while I'm still here. I'm going to give you the power to do that. And so you're giving basically your life away to your child or whoever that trustee is to manage these assets for you. That's why we always tell our clients, don't name someone else as your trustee unless you really have to, like you're elderly, you're in your early stages of dementia, you're disabled, you're incapacitated, you're not able to walk to a bank or sign documents, then maybe. But one of the benefits of having your child as a trustee is that you trust them and they're familiar with your needs. Also, cost savings. A lot of times our clients only have their kids, or let's say they have no children and no family members to be trustees. In those situations, they have to hire a professional trustee to help them when they can't, which can be very expensive. And so some of them charge percentage of assets under management every year. Some of them charge hourly. And so by naming your child as the trustee now, if you really need their help, you're avoiding those trustees' fees, which could save your family a lot of money in the long run. Also, streamlined communication, right? With your child as trustee, you'll avoid the need to constantly explain your preferences or financial situation to them. If they're a third party, even if it's a friend, it's more, a lot of times it's not as convenient. And so this can really simplify the decision-making process and reduce the potential of misunderstandings. Now, some folks, they have a better relationship with their niece, nephew, their cousins, their brothers, or their friends or neighbors than their children, right? So in that situation, it might not be advantageous for you to have your child to be the trustee while you're alive. Also, continuity in case of incapacity. If you become incapacitated, your child will be the trustee. They can step in immediately because they're already the trustee to manage your finances, your bank accounts, your checking, savings, investment accounts, CDs, without the need for court intervention or delay. So there's no conservatorships, there's no guardianships that's really needed for financial matters. Everything will be taken care of by your trustee. And you can name your child also as the power of attorney to manage your assets outside of the trust, like your power of attorneys. So it makes it really easy for the cases where you become incapacitated. But what are the disadvantages of naming your child as a trustee? Well, number one, emotional strain, right? Acting as a trustee can be stressful, especially involves making tough decisions or navigating family dynamics. between your child and other children. So this responsibility might strain your relationship with your child or your child's relationship with their siblings. And so be careful of that. Okay. I'll share with you some tips that I would recommend to avoid emotional strain and strains in relationships if you do want your child to be trustee while you're alive. Also, lack of expertise. Managing a trust can be complex, requiring knowledge of financial acumen, taxes, being able to manage a team, like manage your CPA, or if you have a financial advisor, manage your financial advisor. So if your child lacks experience, if they're not good with managing money, then they're not good with delegating, if they're not good with responsibilities, then they might inadvertently make mistakes that could be very costly. Also, like I mentioned, family tensions. There might be resentment. Why does my brother get to be trustee and I'm not, right? Or there might be suspicion towards the child acting as trustee, thinking that there's favoritism or mismanagement, right? Other children might think, well, the brother's probably just going to steal things from my mom. And so it's going to harbor a lot of resentment, a lot of suspicion, and potentially could lead to litigation in the future. So that's one of the other reasons why you might not want to consider putting one of your children as a successor trust or as a current trustee while you're still alive. Also, blurred boundaries. Mixing family roles with financial responsibilities can create confusion. For example, your child may feel uncomfortable enforcing, what you want to do. They might have their own opinions. Other family members might say no to a certain thing, and your child might want to say yes. And so there are these blurred boundaries that can cause confusion and not not good for family relationships. Also, there's a potential for conflict of interest. If your child is also a beneficiary of your trust, there could be a perceived or actual conflict of interest in the eyes of the law. And so they may struggle to balance that role as a trustee with their personal interests. So, as a beneficiary, it's their interest that you spend less money, right? And so another beneficiary might claim, oh, the trustee didn't take care of mom, abused her, left her without any help because they didn't want to spend money on her care and what she needed, and wanted to keep all the money for themselves after mom dies or dad dies. And so there's a potential or actual conflict of interest when those situations happen. So here's some practical tips that I would recommend that you take into consideration. Number one, have an open conversation with your kids, right? Sit down and talk about the responsibilities of being a trustee. See who's, number one, available and who's willing to serve as trustees. Have all the kids involved, okay? Not just one. If you have multiple children, unless they have a good relationship. But what I found is it's nice for families to get together to talk about these important things. So make sure they fully understand the role and are willing to take it on, and their siblings know about it as well. So it's not a secret. Also, assess their skills, okay? Evaluate whether your child has financial literacy, organizational skills, emotional maturity to handle the role effectively, and also provide them guidance, right? Create a detailed trust or write them clear outlines about how you want to be cared for. Consider working with an experienced attorney to ensure everything is clear and legally sound. That's really important as well. And offer professional support. So even if your child is a trustee, they can work with financial advisors, attorneys, CPAs to ensure they make informed decisions. So encourage them to seek professional help when necessary. And then also consider a co-trustee, right? If you're worried about putting too much responsibility on your child, or if this will cause family tensions, you might want to consider naming someone else, another family member or a professional, to share in the duties and provide this checks and balance. So when should you consider an alternate trustee? When is it a bad idea for your child to be trustee? Number one, if your child has a history of financial mismanagement, don't put them there. Do not put them there, okay? Or if family dynamics are particularly intense or contentious, I wouldn't recommend it. If your child is already overwhelmed with personal financial obligations, that's a bad idea as well. So in these cases, you might want to hire a professional trustee. You might want to name another family member, a friend, to be your trustee. That might be a better option. Okay. Now, if you want to learn the entire process of setting up a trust, including choosing the right trustee, I go into more details in my free class. In this free class, I share how to make your trust without hiring an attorney if you don't want to. Even if you want to hire an attorney, right? Even if you're thinking about working with us, for example, you should still take that class first. So, because I walk you through the process, I walk you through some mistakes I see people make, so you can avoid them. And this class will show you how to find the right attorney for your situation. So, if you want to make your own living trust, check out my free trust class at freetrustclass.com. The link is on the bottom of this video. Now, before I let you go, I want to share this wonderful Bible verse with you. It comes from 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8. And this relates to children caring for elderly parents. So you might be wondering, hey, should I allow my child to be trustee right now while I'm alive? And sometimes parents don't want to burden their children too much. And so they don't want their kids to spend too much time away from their own families, away from their careers, their businesses, in order to take care of them, right? But I want to encourage you in that respect, because it says in the Bible that if anyone does not provide for his relatives, especially for members of his household, he's denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. And so God emphasizes throughout the scriptures that we are to take care of certain people, right? And one thing that God emphasizes a lot is children taking care of their parents and parents taking care of their children, right? Parents are to raise their kids and to raise them in the Word of God while they're young. And when the parents get old, it's now the children's turn to take care of the parents. And so that is a wonderful lesson in the Bible. And I want you to understand this because if you're concerned that you're burdening your children, that's a good concern, right? We don't want to be a burden. But it's also the responsibility of our children to take care of us once we reach this age where we need them to take care of us. So whether or not you want your child to be trustee while you're still alive, you should take into consideration of this. It's like, it's according to God's law, according to God's will, that our children takes care of us, right? In Exodus 20:12, it says, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. So we are to honor our fathers and mothers. And one of the ways to honor them is to take care of them when they're older. And in Leviticus, we're reminded that when we are standing before someone who's older, right, we are to honor them. And we are to honor them because we fear God. We're honor them because we want to honor God. So when your kids take care of you, they're honoring God and they're honoring you, which is a win-win in both situations. And so let them take care of you, right? If the situations that you're in fits the bill of, hey, there's really nothing wrong for my son, my daughter to be my trustee. There's no family issues. They're responsible. Everyone's on board. It's okay for your kids to take care of you. It's okay for them to even bring you into their home to take care of you, right? My parents have been taking care of my grandma for about 10 years. She can't walk. And so she's 100 years old now, which is amazing. Praise God. She's 100 years old, and my parents are taking care of her for over a decade. And so that is how we honor our parents. That is how we honor God. So see that as something that honors the Lord. See that as something that that's a blessing that's given to you from God, knowing that the children you've raised, the children that you loved, can now help you, can now love you back when you need it most. So I encourage you to think about these scriptures as you are deciding whether or not to put your children as the trustees. All right. God bless you all. If you have any estate planning questions for me, please write them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. I can't promise I'll go through every question. This video was made by one of the questions that was asked. It doesn't make me your attorney. It doesn't make you my client, right? All of this was just general information. It's not legal advice. So find an attorney if you have any legal questions. But let me know if there's any general questions that you would like answered, and we'd be happy to make a video to help you in your estate planning journey. All right. God bless you all. See you next time. Bye.